Hey, what's going on? Billy AZ Prospector up here in the Mingus Mountains. Overlooking Camp Verde down here. And on way off in the distance, you can see the first mesas here. So you got Camp Verde, back there you got Sedona, and then you've got the mountains, you know, coming in right there. Those are San Francisco peaks. Beautiful overlook. Gonna go check out some mines back in the Mingus Mountains today. So here we go. Okay, we're at the first mine. It's not much of a mine. I think all they did was they found a little outcropping like right there, and then they just stripped out in here because I'm not finding any portal through here. But if you look, let's see what this is over here. These deep trenches. Like, see, there's a quartz outcrop right there, and there's a deep cut. And I'm not seeing any portal anywhere. But I did just find a little piece of gold on one of the stones here. Yeah, see, I don't think there's a portal. I think they just came right in here and dug this out. You can see right there, yeah, there's no portal. I think they just dug this big section out right here. Let me show you this stone here though. This is the ore they were after. And let me find that piece of gold again. Right there, so it's kind of hard to see. I'll zoom in here. But if you can see right there, where the end of my shadow of my fingernail is right there, that's the piece of gold right there. Kind of hard to see. Get this to focus. You can kind of see it reflecting in the light there, but that's a piece of gold. And that's the ore they were after. But like I said, I don't think there was any portal. I will tell you though that my great uncle, that was a geologist, C.A. Anderson, was here in the 1950s. And there's some remnants of some steel up here. So I don't know if this is just old working tools or what. Anyways, in the 1950s, he was in these mountains, and I have records of him being here in the 50s. I never met him, but he was my great-grandfather's brother. And he did some work here, doing some geological assessment for the mines. And so it's just kind of cool to be here after all those years and have somewhat of a connection with that. There's a couple more metal pieces there. It's pretty warm today. I bet you it's almost 100 degrees. Pretty snaky area. Just looking over here to see if I can see any more workings. I know that there's a couple more mines. We're actually going to go back up this cut. There's some mines back up in there that were some gold mines. We'll look over these tailing piles just a little bit more, see if we can find any more pieces, and then we'll work our way up to the next mine. Okay, so we're up here at the mine up at the top, and I can see they did a huge cut up on the top right there on that hill, all the way down right through there. So I think what they were doing, they were obviously working some quartz here, but they did a cut up through there. I think they were looking for quartz. And if you look this way, up this side, I think there was an old working right there in that little pocket. And then they came and they bulldozed all this. And I think what they were looking for is these quartz streams. You know, so here's like a good 3 to 4 inch vein of quartz running through here. And then they would look for those vuggy pockets like that. And that's typically where the gold would be sitting in this stuff. So they would pull this stuff out and crush it. Like that could be some really good stuff right there, part of the vein that's breaking up, decomposed. But yeah, essentially they were stripping right through here just looking for veins. We'll walk down this way. Actually, let me see that other stone you just found. Yeah, so some chalcopyrite going on in this. Pretty cool. That's the stuff they were looking for. But yeah, it's a little hotter up here than I thought it would be today. Still summertime in Arizona. But we're getting up here in the elevation. I'm not exactly sure what we're at yet, but we're definitely up here. And I would think that it'd be a little cooler. All right, so there's that same vein. So matter of fact, let's go back up here. They cut into it here. So there's more of that vein. I have to look and see if this property's still claimed or not. But yeah, there's more of that vugginess. That's some good stuff right there. Be good to get into. Get up here, pull some samples if it's not claimed anymore. And there's some more right there. That vein's just running all the way through this cut, all the way through here. There's another old working there. So this was all up here at one time, way high, right? And so there was just probably that pocket cut out right there. Probably chasing that vein right there. They were probably chasing it right here. Now it's all blown out though because they cut this road in, and it looks like it probably came out and maybe up because I'm not seeing it down here. So it might have peaked out up there. This is probably the original cut right through here. And then it cuts back in again there. Yeah, I'd love to come in here and pull some samples, but I'm not gonna do it if I don't know if it's claimed. And then here's some good stuff here. Some bull quartz with that iron oxide. And then you get that, that stuff right there, nice vuggy stuff. And then that's where that gold's gonna sit out. It's gonna be right in that stuff. So yeah, I'd love to just come collect all this and get the crusher out here and crush this up and see what's going on. Find out what this stuff is running. Yeah, you can see it's pretty good. That's the good stuff. And the nice iron. All right, well, I think we're done here at this one. Cut back to the main road and get going again. See what we can find at the next mine, because like I said, there's quite a few of them out here I want to check out. So, all right, just coming through this wash. I should have got it on video pulling the tree out of the way, but I didn't snap my toe strap. But just came up to this awesome old, I think it was an ore stockpile. There's some foundation here. This is probably where they had a crusher, I would imagine, at some point. That old foundation right here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were just crushing ore based on all this fine stuff right here. Pretty unique to see something like this still standing. Giant railroad ties. A lot of mines back in here, like you saw when we came in, the federal mines. A lot of mines that aren't even on the map, prospects. Like I said, it's pretty cool to see this stuff still back in here. Man, I should have had my GoPro because we just came through a gnarly section, which was right down there. You can see barely that little trail, like running right through there. That's what we came up all the way back in there, down that where that big tree is. That's where you just saw that that ore piece. But anyways, we came up to this mine here. I knew this mine was here based off of some old maps, but it looks like it's under current claim. This one they weren't messing around in though. they pulled some big serious ore out of this mine. So I'm just kind of looking here as we're walking up to the portal. Definitely still working this mine. Yeah, they were actively working this mine. So got the gas can, probably running some equipment down there. And it goes way back in there. Looks like they probably are running a generator because they've got lights strung. So it'd be really cool to see what they're doing here. Likely another gold mine. Someone getting after it, which is cool. Been really impressed. That's not even a 4-wheel drive. Did get a locker put on there though, and it's making all the difference. I'm getting a ton of pinstripes, so super glad I have not painted that truck. Anyways, here's some copper sulfide. Looks like it's coming out of the mine. All right, we'll go to the next. So here's some of the old remnants of the federal mine. The mine truck with the big old engine. All right, just stopping one little more spot here. Just looking at this open mine here. I think this is mostly a copper sulfide mine that they were looking at. There's a little ore pile over here we're gonna check out real quick. definitely a sulfide, but this definitely looks like the tailing pile here. I marked this one specifically because it said that it had molybdenite. And molybdenite's usually really shiny. Looks like silver, but I'm not seeing anything reflective in this dump pile. Yeah. Nothing colorful, nothing shiny. I think before this road was cut in, this is all the dump pile here. That's kind of cool. I'm not really seeing anything else of interest here. That's why they stopped working it. It wasn't really that good a grade. That's a little better. A little bit of sulfide in there. Ah, that's cool. There's some more there. Big old ferns. That's a cool one. Yeah, that's all I see. On to the next one. All right, we're at the final mine of the day. We've been all over this middle of this state, but we're gonna work our way up to that whirl pile right there. It just came down. It just rained like crazy, poured. So the hopes are that it washed off all the dirt, and we're gonna find some really nice molybdenite or molybdenum. Yeah, we're gonna work our way up. You can still hear the thunder in the background. Yeah, I think this is gonna work out well. I think because it just rained. Yeah, look at like already right here. Really nice blade right there. Really nice, basically copper sulfide ore. But we'll keep working up this. Really steep. See, those are good blades there. All right, I'm gonna get to work before it rains again. All right, had to stop filming for a second just to get some, but filling up our little Gatorade bottle, and I just found the largest one. These are the typical size that you'll find around here, but I just found the largest one from this mine ever. And it's right there. This is going to the personal collection. It's a huge blade. Guessing 3/4 of an inch. Super nice. That's a nice blade. Best one yet. All right, well, we're wrapping up the day. Doesn't look like it on camera, but we're running out of daylight. So just some old remnants. I'm guessing another crusher here at one time. Coming right off that. That's the ore dump right there. And we got a bottle just about full. So we got some good pieces in there. We hit it right after the rain, so it was really good. So it washed all the dirt off of all the pieces, and they were literally just laying right on top. So there's your molybdenite. All right, well, thanks for joining along. Billy Easy Prospector. We'll catch you on the next one.